Next on ACC Live.
Keyshawn Howard, fade away. .9, and Maryland leads by 1.
Both undefeated ACC teams get taken to the final second. I missed it! One goes down, but one survives. Plus, it's Throwback Thursday and Throwdown Thursday. I'm ready for some Vinsanity. You vote. Is he the best dunker ever in the conference? And
Lob pass. Oh, wow! Oh, Carl White.
From then to now, some current above-the-rim funk. We count down the top dunks of the year so far. ACC Live Throwback starts now. Hello, I'm Jeff Fischel. This is ACC Live on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. It's Thursday, and that means we throw back. Today, we go all the way back to some Vinsanity in Chapel Hill. And I also talked to coaching great Gary Williams. He led Maryland to a national title in 2002. Now he's enjoying his new career and, of course, the extra time for golfing. You know, I asked him to give me his all-time Terp starting 5 from his teams. I didn't think he'd do it, but he did his best to give that to me. That's coming up. I want to know, who do you think the best dunkers in the history of the ACC? Give me the names. Tweet us at the ACCDN. But we have to start. We have to start with great night of hoops last night in the ACC. Both North Carolina State and Miami pushed to the final seconds. They went into the games 3-0. There's Lorenzo Brown. He buries the 3, pulling NC State to within 2 of Maryland. Maryland's Keyshawn Howard into Alex Len. Remember that combo closely. Keyshawn Howard, Alex Len, 49-48 Terps. Brown comes through again. 17 points. The rest of the team didn't help much. Just 12 of 46 from the field, but he was great. Down 1, 5 seconds left, Maryland. It's Howard driving baseline, throws it up to the hoop, and there's Len to put it in with .9 left. Keyshawn Howard, he had nothing. A complete air ball, but the 7-footer cleans it up, giving the Terps the 51-50 lead. There you see Howard hoping and praying, and Alex Len comes through. .9 left. The Wolfpack one last chance. They get a shot off, no good. And hey, why not? NC State stormed the court. Terps fans do it too. 51-50 Maryland upsets NC State. The Terps get the win, NC State's first loss in conference. Meanwhile, Miami against Boston College. The Eagles giving them fits. 55-54 Eagles. Durant Scott comes up with a steal. He can't finish, but Kenny Kaji's been so huge since Reggie Johnson went down with the injury. He follows 56-55 the U. 3 seconds left. As the clock hits 0, Durant called for a foul on a three-pointer on Olivia Hanlon. Olivia Hanlon needs to make all 3 free throws to force overtime. Can the freshman do it? The first rattles around and then goes down. He needs 2 more. The second, that rattles around and goes down. Can he force overtime? The last. No. And time runs out. What a win for Miami. Durant Scott knows he fouled him, but he'll take the win. 60-59, the final. That leaves Miami, the last undefeated team in the ACC, 4-0 in conference. 3 of those wins on the road. Road wins are like playing with house money. First time in school history, the Canes are 4-0 in the ACC. Again, I ask, how can this team not be in the top 25? Duke and Florida State, 2-1. Clemson, Maryland, Wake, all 2-2. The bottom half of the standings, Georgia Tech, still looking for that first conference win. It won't be easy. We'll talk about their matchup coming up. Miami now has a week off before hosting Duke next Wednesday. Yes, please. I think I'm going to sit down and watch that one. Full serving. The Blue Devils play tonight. That's the matchup with Georgia Tech. We will break down that game coming up. One more note from last night. Did you see this in the NC State-Maryland game? 2 candidates trying to enter our discussion for ACC Dunk of the Year. Lorenzo Brown. That is fantastic. Court to court, one end to the other, the 360 spin and the strong finish, and you got to have the yell at the end. Now, Des Wells, his chance. Is he one of the best dunks? No! And watch again, adding injury to insult, the horrible dismount. Oh, Des Wells can't finish strong, but here now are our top 5 dunks of the year so far.
Down the lane, he comes to slam it down. Goodness gracious, 18 for Kenny Kaji.
Until North Carolina stops these drives, the smart thing for Miami to do is to continue to attack.
Looked inside to Mitchell, but instead they give up the 3 ball. They're going to let Maryland take those, and then followed by Lehman. What a start by Jake Lehman today. Steal. This is where they're Go back, scoop it up. All you haters that say college basketball doesn't count the more you're working.
This game, but the confidence and body language of Wake Forest really is just a struggle. Oh my goodness! I'm not sure there's a way to even describe this. He comes from nowhere, elevates, sits there for a second before he throws it down, and can't come down until the traffic clears underneath him.
Lob pass. Oh, wow! Oh, Carl White. And that brought everyone off the bench for Florida State.
But Carl White with the emphatic finish off the inbound play.
Whoa.
Those have been the top 5 dunks of the year so far, at least according to us. Do you agree? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Plenty of more funk all next month. February will be Dunk Month on ACC Live. We'll count down the top dunks ever in the ACC archives, so check in every Thursday on our Throwback show to make sure you catch the slickest slams in ACC history. Speaking of delivering some delicious dunks, today's hidden gem takes us back to the days of Vinsanity. Even his North Carolina teammates were in awe. Vince Carter, so amazing above the rim. We went into our archives and found this piece from 2001 for a series called Jerseys in the Rafters.
I saw Vince play so many times his junior and senior years in high school. And he was just so talented that a lot of times in high school he got by on sheer athleticism just by being so much better than other players. But in order for him to improve, to get better defensively, I think that Carolina and Coach Smith was really good for Vince Carter. Now, I'm not saying that Vince wasn't great when he got here because he was a tremendous talent. Boy, he was fun to watch. But I think each year that he was here in North Carolina, he became a better basketball player.
I didn't understand, I didn't know, so I just always asked. And I think they got tired of hearing me. And you know, Coach Ford and Coach Hanners definitely put the time in, just working with me, just becoming better, like getting my shot off quicker, and just to continue to run the floor. And I always said, okay, Coach, what else? And it was always that way, and I think they appreciated that.
But you have to give Vince credit for taking the coaching and accepting the coaching and working hard. A lot of young men probably wouldn't have done that. And he was able to accept the fact that it was kind of rough in the beginning, but boy, did he ever become a force for us.
I think maybe not having a great freshman year might have helped him work even harder throughout his sophomore season. Defensively, he came on as a sophomore. He could guard a 6'5", 10" guy. He could guard a 6'6" guy. It didn't make any difference. He can guard a 6'8".
I got the opportunity to play with 2 great point guards. Jeff was the one who actually started my career as far as Vince Carter being a dunker, because he wasn't afraid to throw it up there either. And that's where it started, and Ed picked up where he left off. And you know, that's his God-given abilities to see guys on the floor, and that was my ability to catch lobs and dunk them. So we put them together and never practiced one time, except for once. I think he wanted to see something or try something from like at the free throw line the other end. We used to practice that, but other than that, never practiced it.
You know, there's times he's knocking over 6 or 7 people. It was just unbelievable. You know, for me, I'm like, this can't be happening. This guy is only in college and he's doing the things that he's doing. And I thought it was no way that I would be able to be successful, because I thought everybody was like Vince. Vince wasn't one of those guys who was just, I can jump, I can do this, I can do that. You know, he really cared about the game of basketball, and he really cared about winning. When you have a guy with all that talent and who's willing to play as a team and who's willing to do whatever it takes to work on his game, I mean, of course he's going to be a great basketball player and a great teammate also.
So is Vince Carter the best dunker in ACC history? You guys are tweeting some great names. Maybe you've heard of this fellow. Hold on. Michael Jordan? He's gotten some votes. Keep it going. Who else? Tweet us at the ACCDN. I'm also looking forward to our series Best Mid-Range Jumper and Best Defensive Stance. Those will be riveting. Coming up, I talked to coaching legend Gary Williams. He was honored last night at the Terps game. He gives me his Terps starting 5 from his days coaching at College Park. And we look back at this week in ACC history, going way back to the conference's all-time greats went toe-to-toe.
Out with the old and in with the delicious. Commit to bold taste with the new Flavor Resolutions menu at Ruby Tuesday. 10 entrees starting at $9.99. Try our savory barbecue brushed ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. Or take it up a notch by adding coconut crusted shrimp to our mango salsa topped Caribbean chicken. Plus, enjoy our endless garden bar, free with any chef-inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday. It's all good here. Start the new year with savings. Visit rubytuesday.com today for a $5 coupon.
What's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
So which would you rather have, a big treehouse or a small treehouse?
If it's big enough, you can have a disco. Oh, yeah.
Why do you not want a smaller treehouse?
Because it wouldn't be able to fit a flat screen TV, and then the TV would be about this big, and you would have to hold the wire. In the position you would hold the wire, you wouldn't be able to see the TV.
That's a pain in the buns.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
hello.
Hello? Yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
One game on tonight's Ruby Tuesday menu. Georgia Tech at Duke. The Blue Devils lost their first game without Ryan Kelly Saturday. Robert Carter Jr. and the Yellow Jackets looking for that first ACC win. Well, you may not know, the Yellow Jackets play some defense, and they play great D. They could give Duke a very hard time, but they have to box out Mason Plumlee, who's fantastic on the boards. Welcome back to ACC Live, here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. It's Thursday, Throwback Thursday, or as I'm calling it, Throwdown Thursday. Who's the best dunker ever in the ACC? Keep voting. Tweet us at the ACCDN. That's coming up. But first, here's what's happening in the ACC now. The David Amerson mystery may have been solved. Joe Giglio reporting Amerson did indeed turn in his paperwork to be an early entrant in the NFL draft. I reported yesterday that Amerson had dropped out of school, and all signs pointed to the NFL, even though there had been no official announcement. Amerson is projected to go as early as the second round, but there's no doubt he was disappointed with his 2012 season. Georgia Tech has a new athletic director, Mike Babinski. He had been at Xavier for nearly 15 years, many of those as AD. He also worked at Akron, the Naval Academy, and Notre Dame, where he graduated. And one more note, a congrats to Michael Strickland. The ACC has named him new Senior Associate Commissioner for Football Operations. He replaces Michael Kelly, who has made my job easier on a weekly basis. Kelly will be the new COO of football's new playoff system, and that's what's happening in the ACC now. Let's flash back one more time to last night's great finish, right? Between the Wolfpack and the Terps. Low scoring, Terps won at 51-50.
They look for Allen. It's Howard right here. Keyshawn Howard, fade away. Lays it in. .9, and Maryland leads by 1.
I mean, in 1983, Lorenzo Charles got one of those to win the national championship.
Great win for the Terps. Now, at the game last night, former Maryland coach Gary Williams was honored at halftime with a painting commemorating the 2002 national championship. He didn't just win, he resurrected a program and won. Remember, he inherited a bad situation. The team was put on probation in his first few years for violations by the previous coach. In all, Williams won more than 650 games as coach, and if I had to guess, one day he'll be in the Hall of Fame. In 2002, Gary Williams led Maryland to its first outright ACC regular season title in 22 years. Of course, it was that same year they took home the national championship. A special day for Gary Williams. January 19, 2008, Maryland defeated #1 North Carolina, making Williams the winningest coach in history versus top-ranked opponents with a whopping 7 wins against #1 teams. Another special day for Williams, January 23rd, 2010, the 1,000th game he'd coached in his 32-year career. That was against NC State at home. Williams only trails Dean Smith and Coach K in ACC regular season wins all time. Joining me now, the longtime former head coach of the Maryland Terrapins, Gary Williams. Gary, I see you're in a newsroom. Tell Maryland Terrapins fans what you're doing right now.
Well, I'm doing some things for Comcast, and they've been nice enough to let me comment on basketball, mostly college basketball, and it's really enjoyable. It's really different than when I was coaching, but you know, you realize now that when you watch games, you have all the answers, and you wish you had those answers when you were coaching.
Now, I know you obviously had to answer a lot of reporters' questions. You might have gotten tired of it a time or two. How does it feel to be on the other side now?
Well, I think everybody has a job, and that's what you have to realize when you're coaching, that people are trying to do their jobs. Now there's so many more people involved in that business with the bloggers and sports talk radio and all those things that there's more people to deal with. But at the same time, you know, as long as things are accurate and you get a chance to respond, I think most coaches are satisfied in the media situation.
So you're seeing a lot of games now, breaking down a lot of tape. Do you get the itch to coach again?
There's things I miss in coaching, without a doubt. I really miss the companionship you have with the players, the locker room, getting ready for a big game, the feeling you have when you walk out on the court. But there's some things that I don't miss also. And I was fortunate. I had a job for 44 years, and you know, you're lucky to get that far in coaching, and I had experienced some great things. So I can be very content with the fact that I was fortunate to do something that I love to do my whole working career.
Obviously, now you probably have more time to do things like golf, right? That's the other advantage.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't get any better. As you get older, you know, whatever better you get, you lose it by your getting older. So, but it's still something you can be competitive in. It's a lot of fun.
Sure. You know, we were talking here in the newsroom about all the great Maryland Terrapin teams you've had over the years. Could you put together a starting five of the guys you coached when you were at Maryland?
Well, that'd be hard. I was fortunate, as you said, to have some not just great players, but great people. If you look at the talent end, certainly Joe Smith, he was the #1 pick in the draft after 2 years, sophomore of the year in the country. Steve Francis was the second player taken in the draft. He only played 1 year for me, but well, it was a great player and great to be around. And then the championship team, guys like Juan Dixon, Lonnie Baxter, Steve Blake, people like that. They were just tremendous competitors and tremendous players. A guy like Chris Wilcox still playing with the Celtics. And when I first got to Maryland in '89, Walt Williams was really important to our program because he kept us competitive in a time where we had some things going on there that we had to work our way through. And without Walt, we probably would have never been able to do the things that we did do.
Gary, not only were you a longtime coach at Maryland, you were also a graduate there. How do you feel about Maryland leaving the ACC?
Well, I have feelings. I played at Maryland, and back when South Carolina was part of an 8-team league, and you know, certainly having coached there for 22 years, and having that opportunity, I have strong feelings about how great a conference the ACC is. And was during the time I was there, and to go away from that, it's tough. But I always have those memories. Our games against Duke, Carolina, the opportunity to coach against Dean Smith, Mike Krzyzewski, Bobby Cremins, you know, Roy Williams, people like that is something that you know, never goes away. That's always in my mind.
We're seeing a lot of this across college sports. I mean, Syracuse, Pitt, Notre Dame, Louisville are all at various times coming into the ACC. What do you think of conference realignment?
Well, I think, like all fans, if I can be a fan now, all fans wish their rivalries would stay the same forever. That would be great. But the way things are now in college sports, it's such an unusual time. I never thought I'd see the things that are going on now. You see in Nebraska go to the Big Ten. You see all kinds of moves. Teams from one coast being in a conference on the other coast. That would have never happened. But, you know, obviously a lot of these things are conferences situating themselves for football contracts, things like that, where the money is. And it's a matter of life today in college sports where somebody has to pay the bills. And I think a lot of it comes down to that. What's the best way, what's the best position for your school to be able to run a total program where everyone's treated with the best equipment, the best things that are available to any student athlete.
Certainly a challenge right now for every school. Gary Williams, appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us. Thanks.
Hey, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Mark Turgeon, of course, now in year 3, taking over for Williams. Clearly, he has the Terps headed in the right direction. What about some other times when the torch has been passed? Kelly Harper stepped in for the late, great Kay Yao. She's taken NC State to a tournament once and an NIT. Gail Gustencourt left Duke, but nothing's changed. The team is undefeated this year. Bill Guthridge was Dean Smith's handpicked successor. He took UNC to 2 Final Fours in 3 years. Dean Smith, of course, inherited the job from Frank McGuire. That seemed to work out pretty well, I'd say. Wouldn't you? Speaking of Frank McGuire, one of his great teams involved in one of the great games ever in the conference, it's time for This Week in ACC History. The date, January 18th, 1956. UNC's Lenny Rosenbluth versus NC State's Ronnie Shavlik, 2 members of the ACC's 50th anniversary Legends team. Shavlik and North Carolina State would fall 73-69 to Rosenbluth's Tar Heels. January 15th, 1989. Virginia's Richard Morgan, a school record 8 3-pointers, 39 points, as the Cavs upset number 8 North Carolina 103-86. What a great game for Morgan. What a great win for the Hoos. Now on January 16th, 1991, there was another special day in ACC history, kind of a strange one that fans for UNC and North Carolina State no doubt will always remember. The game was actually canceled just minutes before tip-off due to the Gulf War in Iraq starting. It's hard to believe now, looking back on it, that's been 22 years. So that's your week in ACC history. We've been asking you the best dunker in ACC history. You've been giving us some fine answers. If you want to see what other fans are saying, follow us at the ACCDN and check out our Twitter feed. Remember this show's hashtag ACC Live. Let's bask in the glow of some of the players you voted for. First, Trip3221 says, if dunks were allowed, oh, this is a great call. David Thompson, right? He wasn't allowed to dunk, but you know he could have. He was a high flyer. Every time he'd get up, he'd just have to lay it up and in. Oh, there's no doubt one of the great all-time high flyers. And then from Mac Attack 117, well, who else? It has to be MJ, right? Michael Jordan. Not only in college, but in the pros as well. Jordan, one of the all-time dunkers. There he is. Of course, he cemented his status in the NBA, but we got a hint. Back in the days in Chapel Hill, Jordan. And the tongue sticking out every time he'd go flying. One of the all-time great dunkers. We'll keep track of your Twitter feed. Of course, we want to talk about the other great names. Ishmael Muhammad was brought up a couple times. That guy had some power dunks for Georgia Tech, where, of course, we talked about Vince Carter earlier. He got a lot of votes. I think I saw Larry Nance. That's another great call. Keep following our Twitter feed at the ACCDN. One last note. This is perfect for a throwback show. Last year's Duke star, Austin Rivers, got a win over his dad last night. The Hornets beat Doc Rivers' Celtics. Austin joked he's pretty sure his mom was rooting for him because she loves him more. He did laugh when he said that. Doc says he actually really didn't enjoy it very much. Now, this reminds me, when I spoke to Bobby Bowden, he said he felt the same way about the Bowden Bowls. It got to be very stressful coaching against Tommy. Well, that's ACC Live. Tomorrow, Mike Jaminski is here. ACC Live tip-off. He and I preview the weekend's games, and we see how his picks compare to SC ACC Hoops Game Simulator. That's right, man versus machine. See you at noon tomorrow.